Hi, I'm Joe Bailey, Executive Director of Quest, and I wanted to talk to you for a few minutes about survey design. Survey design is something that's very important in thinking about how to go ahead and ask the appropriate questions within a survey, especially when you're trying to understand what customers may want. Within Quest, we talk a lot about the voice of the customer, and surveys are one way to go ahead and capture that voice of the customer. So there are several types of questions within a survey. I'd like to talk about some of them. One of them is you can rank order. So for example, you might actually propose a few different designs. You can ask your respondents to go ahead and rank order them in terms of preference. And then you can analyze the results based upon the ones that are consistently on the top or the bottom, or even use that with other information. And now I said that I should also talk about the demographics. So when you're trying to listen to the voice of the customer, there's always the question about the people filling out the survey and whether they're the right demographics or the ones that you're trying to reach out to. Sometimes survey results can be skewed and either by underrepresenting or overrepresenting certain samples. One of the things that we do within Quest in their sophomore year is have students look at designing of computers. And so they actually go out and they survey not only current students, but they survey upperclassmen as well to see what they want in the survey and the computer design. And this matters a lot because the computers will be used by all cohorts, but there actually are more responses among the sophomores than the upperclassmen. So you must think about demographics. The next thing I would say is that there's a Likert scale type of questions. And a Likert scale is usually a number between either 1 and 5 or 1 and 7, which allows a person to either strongly disagree, or strongly agree, or maybe even take a neutral position, and that would be the middle response. So 3 on a scale of 1 to 5, or 4 on a scale of 1 to 7. And what you're trying to do is get people to go ahead and agree or disagree with some statements that you might put out. So in the context of design, you might actually be asking them to say that a really fast computer is very important to them, or a large monitor is very important, or the ability to plug in a USB stick in the front of the computer. And while these kind of describe some of the types of questions that can be answered and analyzed in a quantitative way, it's always important to have open-ended questions on a survey. Sometimes you might find that in a survey design that you're almost kind of trying to anchor the respondents in a particular area, and you might be missing something completely. So it's always a good idea to have some open-ended, but if everything is open-ended, then you wouldn't necessarily get the responses in kind of a more quantitative way for further analysis. And the last thing is less about the design of the survey itself, but something that everybody should do when designing a survey, which is you always want to get a focus group together. And the focus group is important because the focus group, you can walk them through the survey and they can give you some feedback whether the survey is clear or not clear, whether or not people are interpreting the questions in the right way. Sometimes the people who are trying to go ahead and get that voice of the customer may not appreciate the perspective of the possible respondents. So always make sure you do a focus group to improve your survey before you send it out. When you send it out, try to make sure you have questions that are going to give you some good quantitative analysis, especially when you're getting tens if not hundreds of survey responses, and be sure to include some open-ended questions. So these are some of the key things about survey design. Frankly, it's more of an art than it is a science, but if you keep some of these principles in mind, I think you'll get good survey results where you can go ahead and bring in the voice of the customer. For the Quest program, I'm Joe Bailey.